Thank you, and Gayatri ji, for a wonderful session. So, Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening from my side to all of you, based on where you're joining us from. Hope you had a great day, having a wonderful start to your day. Welcome once again to Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita session. So, let's get started with our topic of discussion today. We are going to, I think we are already in the newer shloka, so we'll continue with that discussion. So, let me share my screen. I need to be co-host to share the screen, I guess. I don't have screen sharing access.
Now it should be there, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, okay, so we'll start with our opening prayers. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening once again to all of you. Let's get started with our segment today, starting with our Soul Soup segment. So as part of Soul Soup segment today, we are going to introduce a very important tool that we all can take benefit from. It's a very, very powerful tool. Let's get to know more about it. All right. So we are going to talk about the importance of journaling. Okay, so this is the tool that we are going to talk about today. It's a very, very powerful tool for all the spiritual aspirants for multiple reasons, not only for self improvement, but also to keep your inspiration going throughout your spiritual journey. Now, I'll explain how. So, let's first talk about what Maharajji recommends. He says that few minutes of introspection before you go to bed every day. Every day, it has to be a daily routine. Whether it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes is important. Now, the question is, what are you going to introspect on? We spoke about the habits, how we can cultivate good habits, break bad habits, but it's not limited to habits alone. What it says is where we improved our behavior, we think about that. There was some improvement from the areas that we were struggling with in our own behavior or based on the higher principles that we are trying to align to. So we just reflect on that briefly. That's the first aspect. And then the second aspect is where we needed to put in more effort. I'm pretty sure there are areas on a day-to-day basis where we can reflect on that. This is where we improved, so that is good, and this is where we need to put in more effort. And this simple activity will go a long way in seeing a tangible change over a course of few weeks only. But this is a great habit. That the problem usually in our day-to-day or the busy lives is that we don't take time for solitude, their own personal time where we reflect on what is working well, what is not working well, and we keep on running the race without even reflecting on where are we running, what are we running for, and how far we need to run, and whether we are running in the right direction or not. So a little bit of that reflection goes a long way in improving our own self. Okay. Now, there's a beautiful example given of, does anybody knows? His BF, okay, Benjamin Franklin. Now, his example is given that he would pick up 13 habits in a year, and one habit per week is what he would focus on. So in the journal, he would go with like week 1, and then he would reflect on practiced it, simple journal. Yes, no, that's it. He would maintain that. And then how many weeks would it take to complete 13 habits? About 13 weeks, which is about 3 months. Roughly 3 months it would take to complete that habit. And then he would repeat that again. Isn't it a powerful way? All it needs is a discipline and a sincerity to really improve yourself. So this is how he used to follow that. Even Mahatma Gandhi was known to maintain a journal for a self-improvement. So a lot of people who they say you can't improve something that you cannot measure. And this is a great way to measure um, and measure yourself up against things that you really want to improve upon. So this is one aspect of it. You can improve things. The second aspect, like I said, for a spiritualist, how journaling helps is because we all feel motivated and inspired when we come on this path. It's the beginner's luck, or you may want to call it the honeymoon period in spirituality. Everybody has, and then it peaks, and then it can start waning off as well. Life catches up, you hit a lottery, or your boss started giving you more work, or you had a breakup, or whatever the case may be. Things can happen in life, and then it can take a dip. And then even though you struggle, that that I need to get back on this part, or your bad sanskars might come as well, then it is not cooperating. God said, all right, I gave you the beginner's luck, the joiner's bonus, or the honeymoon period. Now I'll see how sincere you are to earn it back. And this journal, if you have maintained it, would help you get back on track faster. Why? Because you would have locked in the inspiration you felt on when you joined this path. Certain realizations, certain aha moments, that euphoric feeling during kirtan, could be anything. If you have journaled it, then it'll help you to get back to it quickly, because then you will reflect on what inspired me to begin with. If I'm feeling demotivated, uninspired right now, there was a time when I actually felt inspired, and this journal is a testimony to that, proof for that. You revisit it, it'll help you get back on track faster. So this is where journaling is important as well. But in context of habits, Benjamin Franklin, like I said, this journal can go a long way in improving ourselves and inculcating good habits or breaking bad habits as well. It's a very systematic and structured way of doing that, right? 13 habits, one habit per week, 3 months, you revise that, and then you start over again. And more importantly, this habit of reflecting at the end of the day, 5 minutes, will go a long way, because now you are exercising Sakshi Bhav after the fact as well. Right? So when you are in the moment, that will help you exercise Sakshi Bhav better. But let's say you missed it out in the heat of the moment. At the end of the day, it's in hindsight you are reflecting on that. And that Sakshi Bhav, even though it is delayed Sakshi Bhav, will go a long way in reflecting and improving upon things that you felt you still have some room to grow, and where you continued to err. So it's a great habit. And third important thing is, when you feel inspired, log it. Because when there will be a moment in life, there will be a phase. Don't get complacent. Don't underestimate the power of Maya. There is bound to come a time when you will feel demotivated, uninspired. It will seem like an uphill battle to keep yourself motivated. Then this journal will come in handy, because you can go back and refer to what inspired you to begin with, and written testimony for that, right? So these are the benefits of maintaining a journal. Hope you got. Yes, Sandhya, you wanted to ask something before we get into our shloka?
So in this 13 habits, one habit per week, um, even if there is, say, no for the entire week, one moves on to the next habit.
I mean, see, this is a guideline. Okay. That doesn't mean that you can't customize it based on what you think works best for you. So Benjamin Franklin thought this worked best for him. I may just do one habit for 3 months, who knows? So we need to calibrate it based on our need. It's customizable. There's no hard and fast rule as such, is how I'd look at it. Yes, Rahul?
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. There is a question. There is a comment from Maheshji. that can we have some examples of practice that need to be put into the journal? Like a few
I
examples.
mean, it could be as simple as giving up junk food we spoke about. It could be as giving up exercising 30 minutes a day. It could be as simple as not
Gratitude.
gratitude. Yeah, very true. Gratitude. It could be as three things that I would note on a daily basis. What I'm grateful for today, right? Today I did not see red lights on the way. Today people were, cooperative with me. Could be anything. Every day we have something to be grateful about. The fact that we wake up. It could be as simple as, I'm not going to get worked up. And if I do, I'm not going to harbor resentment. It could be anything. There are tons of things that we have scope and potential to improve upon. And we pick up what makes more sense. What are our struggle points? If we don't know our struggle points, then it's a bigger problem, right? Then that means we need to deepen our self-awareness, because even when a patient goes to a doctor, they need to know what the problem is, right? If they cannot articulate what the problem is, then what can doctor do? So in this case, you can become your own doctor, right? Where you are mindfully, consciously working on it. So put down whatever is your struggle point. It could be anything. There are no hard and fast rule. It could be any virtue you're trying to acquire. It could be any bad habit you're trying to get rid of. It could be any good habits you want trying to inculcate. It could be your behavioral stuff which bothers you, which worries you unnecessarily. It could be anything. There could be tons of things. In fact, we did this practice. All right, I see. Give me a sec to knock off. Right. If somebody is already knocked off, then it's good.
We'll do that. Yeah.
No, let's just do that. Okay, let me do the honors.
I
You did that? Okay. Thank you. So yeah, it could be anything that we can pick up. I hope that answers your question. In fact, we had floated a tracker. If you want, we can revive it. Urvi was running that not too long back. If you want, we can actually start doing that again, because it's a very good tracker to track your daily progress. All it needs is a sincerity, intent, and discipline, and you can
actually,
utilize that tracker. Yeah.
to follow up on that, actually, one thing that we had done at some point of time, a WhatsApp group in which, 5 a.m. club kind of a thing.
IVM club as well.
I had received a request, like if people want to do something like that, another some such thing can
If you
start.
can, just let us know if you have interest. We have enough people who will make sure they'll chase you to whichever corner of the world you are in, and make sure you get up at 5. Very inspired people we have. So let us know if there's an interest. Please fill out on the feedback tracker. We could certainly think about doing that again. Yes, Rahul?
There is another
You are
question
delaying
related to
something that you are all going to love, what I'm going to show on the next slide. But yeah, go ahead.
there is a question from Manisha ji that it does happen after experiencing beautiful bhavs and enjoying the kirtan and feeling connected with Hari and Guru.
Right.
Suddenly I start feeling uninspired and don't feel that rasa in doing sadhana and without any reason. But how to get back to pace again and feel connected, though that time also I don't stop doing my sadhana and satsang.
Very practical question. So I'll briefly touch upon it and we'll get to the shloka then. This is bound to happen, right? Life's is ups and down, and our sanskars keep on fluctuating as well. So you have good sanskars, it is like riding a bicycle downhill. It is like going with the gravity. So you will feel inspired, motivated, everything is making sense. And you said, okay, this life only, I'm going to complete this journey, right? However, similar to that, things change. Your bad sanskars might come up. Now, those bad sanskars, when they come up, now no, I'm not get too deeper into that. If you have Guru's grace, he can fight with your bad sanskars also. But let's say you are going solo, then you should first have a mindfulness. You know what? I'm not feeling as inspired as I used to. That's where journaling, when you felt inspired and revisiting that, would help you get back faster. And if you apply other logic, when the downhill is there, cycling is easy. When the uphill comes, what do you have to do? Do you give up cycling? No, you pedal harder. So you know that this is a time you have to sail through it. You have to try harder, even though you are feeling uninspired. Don't give up. Stick to the fundamentals again. If a cricketer gets out of form, they don't stop playing cricket. They get back to the nets and practice even harder. So similarly, seva, satsang, sadhana, don't give it up. It might be difficult, but don't make it something that you can't get back on. So that is the key thing in those times. And then, like, bad times will pass as well. Again, you will feel inspired, and God, it could come as a God's test as well, how sincere you are, right? So it's just a matter of time before you'll get back again. So don't lose hope. That is the key thing, and keep on trying. Yes.
Sorry, there are multiple comments in the chat, but there is a good example of how tracker helped Lakshmi ji. She mentioned it was a long time when she was trying to control the intake of tea, and then this tracker helped from going from fixed 5 to 6 times to 1 time a day. So I think it works. It is just the matter of discipline and then religiously trying to follow that.
Yeah, tea will open up a can of worms. So, and then I'll introduce something more that will get more people excited. Okay. So yes, Pallavi ji, please go ahead and then we move to the next slide.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
So tracking and as well as journaling, both are very, very powerful tools as you mentioned, Nitinji. But one more tool I found personally very, very helpful, that was visual journaling. So keeping all the like our goals and what we want to aspire, what we want to do, what we are working on. If we put the quotes on the board, or we put pictures, images, or even simple Bhagavad Gita shlokas, what we want to aspire towards. That has also helped me a lot, and I think it will be also helpful for others if they want to try that.
Sure. I think these are all good practices. Like I said, we need to identify what works for us best. Okay. Sometimes declaring it to the world and declaring war on it helps as well, where you declare it to the world so that people keep you honest. Hey, you told us, and now I see you doing that. So whatever works for you, there are no hard and fast rule. You see what works for us, what helps you keep yourself honest and go with that. Anyways, good discussion. Fill out the feedback tracker if you want to try out the tracker or any other suggestions that you have. So now let's move on to the topic of our discussion. We are on Shloka 5.21 and let's recite it, maybe a couple of hands, and then we'll get started. Bahyasparsheshvasaktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshamanushate. All right, let's take a couple of hands. I know a bit of a tongue twister, but we can take 2 hands.
Radhe Radhe, Riya ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Bahyasparshe svashaktatma vindyatatmani yat sukham sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayamashnute.
Very nice. Thank you, Reji.
Radhe Radhe, Shyam Sundar Vankwar ji.
We'll
Thank
take
you. Radhe Radhe. Yeah. Bias sparsheshva saktatma vindyatatmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshyam ashnute. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Shyamji. Thank you. Sandhya, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Bhayasparsheshva saktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute.
Thank you. So let's get started. The shloka, Lord Krishna is saying that those who are not attached to external sense pleasures realize divine bliss in the self. Being united with God through yoga, they experience unending happiness. And what is this bliss in the self that God is talking about? And where does this bliss come from? So let's delve a little deeper into it to try to understand this concept. Okay, as Maharaji explained it so beautifully, and Swamiji in his multiple commentaries has expounded upon it and made it so simple to understand. So let's get started on this one. So you said tea. I said, I'm going to bring in something that you could enjoy even more. So you may want to call it Rasgulla, whatever, right? So you hear Rasgulla. I hope you all understand what Rasgulla is. Now, truly speaking, this is Ras plus Gulla. Okay, this is how it becomes. Now, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the process. I have not prepared it. Maybe one of these days. Okay, you see somebody's trying to join, so you can take care of them. try to be very hospitable. So let's move on. Now, first you have gulla. Okay, this is how it starts. And then you add rus to it. This is how it becomes, right? This, they call it the sugar syrup, chashni or something like that. So you add rus to it, and that's how it becomes. That means there was an entity which was devoid of rus, and then it had to be dipped into that. It had to be added, and then it turned out to be rasgulla, rashogulla, rasbari, as we know that. So this is the process of making it. So there was an entity, and then something had to be added to it, and then it became what it is that we relish, savor, enjoy so much. So yeah, I'll get to it. Why did I bring this concept? Okay, so you understood, right? Something is there, you need to add something to make it what it is. Now let's continue with this. Bring back the rasgulla. Now let's introduce bliss. This is bliss. Believe it or not, this is how bliss looks, okay? You know where I picked it up from. This picture might seem familiar. So this is bliss, or what we are seeking. I think it encompasses joy, peace, happiness, everything, all encompassing. And if it were to look, it would look something like this. Okay, just visualize this is bliss that all of us are seeking. Okay, now if somebody who's saying I'm not seeking it, then you can raise your hand and we can understand why is it that you won't seek that. So, and you know what is the biggest wonder of the world? What is the ninth wonder of the world? How many wonders are there? Eight or nine? Okay, I'll tell you the biggest wonder of the world. By the way, there was a question. There are wonders of the world. We know that. This question was asked by Yaksh to Yudhishthira also. Kim Ashcharyam. And Yudhishthir had said that everyday people live, die and leave this world. And yet those who are still alive think I will not die anytime soon. And that nothing is more astonishing than this. But Maharaji says, I will tell you something even more astonishing than this. Okay, that Kim Ashcharyam question, if it was being asked to Maharaji, he would have answered it differently and for a reason. You know what is that wonder? That there is so much of diversity in this world. God intentionally created this world full of diversity. And 8.4 million species of there, all of varied types. Physical appearance is different, intellects vary, their fingerprints are different. So much of diversity is there. Their body odor is different, retina scan is different, right? Our cybersecurity biometrics industry is based on that only to uniquely identify an individual. However, although there is so much of difference, there is still something common. Isn't it interesting? And what is that same, that something which is common in all? Everybody desires happiness, the bliss that I just, you see on your screen. Everybody. You go and ask atheist, one who insults God, what do you want? He'll say bliss, peace, happiness, enjoyment to the fullest, complete contentment. Even an atheist would say that. You ask and enunciate why you keep on reciting God's name. What do you want? He'll say, I am seeking bliss. Right? So you may be a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, whatever, even birds, animals, worms, insects. You hold an insect like this, it'll try to, get out of your grip. Why? Because it is seeking bliss. It doesn't want pain. So everybody wants to avoid pain and is seeking bliss. And this is the most astonishing thing in the world. And if you think about this thing, even humans, when they are born, they start crying. And if they don't cry, and when they cry, the mother laughs. She's happy because baby is born. On the contrary, if the baby doesn't cry, then the mother will cry, basically, because then that means the baby is not alive. And it cries because it has suffered a lot of pain of the birth. And at that moment, it declares to the world, I do not want pain that I experienced being born. I want happiness. And we are all wired to seek bliss because we are fragmental part of God. So we all declare to the world, give me happiness. I do not want pain. So this is the bliss we all are seeking. And then you have God. Now, what happens? What is the relationship between God and bliss? Is it something that you have to add, right? Add it to God, and then God becomes blissful. God, bliss, we talk about it, right? Like rasgulla, we had to add ras to gulla to make it rasgulla. So is bliss in God? Let's understand what scriptures are saying. Scriptures do not say that bliss is in God. If that is said, it would have said raso vai tasmin. Raso vai tasmin. Bliss is in God. On the contrary, the Taittiriya Upanishad, it very clearly states raso vai saha. That means he is divine bliss. In other words, he is happiness. And he does not say that bliss is in him. So there is a technical difference about something having bliss in it. That means was added like in Rasgulla, and something which is bliss. So God is bliss. This is the definition of God. There's no difference between God and bliss. That is why we said God is also called Sat Chit Anand. So you can call God Sachidanand. If somebody's name is Sachidanand, that means that's the name of God. Even if you say Chidanand, that is also God. Sat comes from Chit. And if you simply say Anand, that is also God. So if your name is Anand, that is always God. So everybody is seeking Anand, bliss, or God, whether it is an atheist or anybody. Now, an atheist may proclaim that they don't believe in God. It's just a matter of time before they wake up to the reality that they had been seeking God. Maybe in this lifetime, maybe later, maybe in some other lifetime, maybe after 10 lifetimes. There is no choice. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because Anand is God and bliss is God, and everybody is seeking that only. You may call it Papa or you may call it Mummy's husband. Both are same. So atheist may want to call it something else, but it's the same entity basically that they're talking about. So therefore, when people say bliss is in God, it is a matter of speaking. It's just a figure of speech. God and happiness are not two different entities. If we were to say happiness, is in God, it would mean happiness and God are two separate entities, which is not the case. Our scripture. So let's make it very, very clear in our head. And we'll get back to the shloka because God is saying you have to experience it within you. And then it saying that happiness is something different. Something has merged into God. Happiness resides in God. That is not correct. God is happiness. Happiness and God and bliss, they are all synonymous. Okay. Now let's move on to build on this concept. So here's happiness of God. Also, our scriptures, the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Anando Brahmeti Vejanat. Okay, what it says is, happiness is God. God is happiness. It does not state that happiness is within God. I repeat, it does not say happiness lies in God. Happiness is God. God is happiness. There's no difference whatsoever. Okay. And also it says Ananda Ivatstat Ananda. So this is also from scriptures where happiness is to God south, north, east, west, as well as below and above him. Okay, is full of happiness alone. There's nothing else but happiness. And that is what we are seeking. There's no dearth of happiness in God, right? He's like full and replete of happiness only. There's nothing, you cannot subtract happiness out of him or make him sad or anything. Okay, through his Yogamaya power, even though he's managing so much through his plenary expansions or by logging karma and stuff like that, he's completely in bliss. That is his Yogamaya power through him. He can maintain that, no tension whatsoever. We have one problem, one tension, and it worries us for the, an entire month, but God can maintain bliss forever. Now, so this is us. Let's understand this concept a little more before we get into a bit of a discussion around us. Now, this is not us. This is us. By now, you know that we are the divine fragmental soul and part of God. And within that, scriptures say, the blissful God is there as well. You see that? The Paramatma, the Atma of our Atma is Paramatma. He's seated within. We spoke about this concept. That is his localized, his manifestation. He's present in everybody, which is Shiro Dakshay Vishnu, who's logging our karmas and who's energizing our soul. And he's our witness at every action. Okay, there's absolutely no concept of privacy at all. The privacy laws here, HIPAA and all that gap, all those laws are there. They are applicable to humans, but when it comes to spirituality, there's absolutely no privacy at all from God. He is a silent witness to everything that we are doing, not only doing, but thinking as well. Now, this is the source, the fountain of bliss that we just spoke about. Then why is it that we don't have any realization of it? We are carrying a fountain of bliss within us. And he's the epicenter of all the blissful things that we experience. And then why isn't it ironical why we are not able to experience it? And our scriptures also say he's bliss, and by attaining him, the soul becomes blissful. Attaining him, what attaining? He's already there, right? So let's try to understand Ankit Mehra. Okay, you can take care of it as well, please. Now, so this is our true identity is. I hope you're able to see the soul. Okay, I've magnified it like we did do it in a microscope. This is the soul. Now what happens is it has some coverings. The first one being our body and senses. Then the second one is our mind. Then furthermore, we have intellect. So these three coverings are there. And in this shloka, if I may remind you to look at it, this shloka, what is this shloka telling us? I should have put it on the screen basically rather than going all the way back. My bad. It says those who are not attached to external sense pleasures realize divine bliss in the self. Right? This is what the verse is saying. So let's try to build it back again. So these are the three things we have coverings with. So when we rise above the dualities, the previous shloka, right? The sensual pleasures that give us the sense of dualities, the fleeting happiness and misery and stuff. Okay, and this is where the bliss is. God is, although he's seated, he's a bit distant at this point because his identity is not revealed to us. So what happens when you rise over dualities, you burn off this aspect, right? You get right over that dualities, seated in equanimity, and then you basically align your mind, and at that point, basically you will realize God, and then that bliss your soul will experience is essentially what this shloka is talking about. So those coverings, and you systematically work on it by aligning to the scriptural principles, the Bhagavad Gita principles, rise above dualities, have equanimity, take success and failure both as imposters, all the dualities. You look at it in perspective and try to sail over those, and you're able to get over that, then you will be able to experience the bliss of God all by itself. That is essentially what yoga is. Okay, so this is why this shloka we'll continue to build on it, but hope this makes sense. Why Lord is saying that when you rise above your sensual pleasures and through the practice of yoga, you can experience that bliss within yourself. And there's a reason why we are not able to experience it as yet. First of all, why God is a fountain of bliss? We spoke about that, right? God himself is bliss. God is happiness, God is bliss. And then by virtue of him being seated within you, he's covered right now. Because of our ignorance, we are thinking of ourselves as body-mind complex, body-mind-intellect complex. And when we rise above that, we will be able to experience him in his full glory. Any questions so far? Hope it makes sense. Yes, Sandhya?
It's actually, a separate question, but related to a concept that you just explained, that he is witnessing all the time, right? Like, because he's seated within. So we also say that Guru is our constant witness. Is he also seated along with Shiro Dakshai Vishnu in some form, or I just got this question right now, so I thought I'd
My
ask.
understanding is that God has enabled, because they become Yogamaya Yukta, God has enabled them with this technology that they can scan any devotee just like an X-ray machine does anytime. And they can be, they can actually be a remote witness to you as well all the times. They have that power. That's how it becomes. So they say, that's why they say, and for a devotee, the Guru is always there, right? He has that ability to monitor every devotee at all times because of the Yogamaya Yukt power that God has given him. And at the same time, for people, they have the ability to scan pretty much everything, just by looking at their eyes or otherwise.
So, like, we don't know the mechanics of it as such. Like, for example, we know the Paramatma form of God does that, but we don't know as such for Guru that mechanics, right?
Is he cohabiting the Paramatma form, or
Mm.
does he have that Durdarshita, like that Durdarshan gets relayed, the center is somewhere else, and then you still see the picture? I don't know about that. That might be a good question to ask. But the bottom line is, yes, What I've heard is God and Guru are both your witness and both your protector at all times. So they have the ability, they have been enabled to do that.
But also, just to add, Guru is not noting down our karmas. That is exclusively done by God, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to, yeah.
But what God says, I'm happy to do the admin work and bookkeeping work. I'll not burden and encumber you with that stuff, for sure. Okay, so I hope it makes sense. Now, anyway, the key thing was to build on the aspect that, first of all, bliss is not added to God. God is bliss in himself. Okay, there's no difference between God and bliss. Like you add ras to rasgulla, you don't add bliss to God. Or God has bliss is not God is bliss. And because God is bliss, that bliss is seated within us. Maharaj used to say, if you practice that also, you will feel very confident. You know, that whole, the power is with you all the times. Deep, that is also a big form of a sadhana, where you can think that throughout the day, that, you know, that God is with me and I have the most wonderful source of power and bliss that I can tap into any time, and he's seated within me. That is also a way of sadhana, if you can build that part as well. He said that if a person has, you know, 10 million rupees or 5 million rupees or something like that, they feel very confident in their abilities. And here you have God himself seated within you. So feel that as well all the times. Try to deepen that practice. And that will also deepen the practice that he's seated within you and he's your protector and witness both. So it's basically taking you closer to the concept of Karam Yoga as well. Yes, Manoranjan ji, see your hand raised.
One Kabir Doha on the occasion. Sant Kabir is saying, गोधन गज धन बाविदम और रतन धन थान जब आए संतोष धन सब धन धूल समान कबीरा सब धन धूल समान. Sant Kabir is saying that you may be having cows, you may be having horses, you may be having heap of gold, but when you have the wealth of satisfaction, then all other are like dust. So one who is associating himself or herself with the Almighty gets the wealth of satisfaction. And
True.
in that context, all other things become dust for him or her.
Yes.
Thank
True.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Manoranjan ji. Yes, in fact, as saints have said that you may have all the wealth in the world, all the opulences in the world, all the glories of the material world. Yet you put it on one side, and on the other side, you might be a failure in the material world. You know, nothing that you have accomplished. But if you have a drop of the treasure of God's love with you, right, that is a much more precious treasure as opposed to acquiring all the things that you usually crave for in the material world. So the true wealth is the love for God or the faith in God or the surrender to God that we have acquired in a particular lifetime. Nothing else is a true wealth, because all of it gets left behind anyways. Yes, any other questions related to what we spoke about? God is bliss, bliss is God, and the fact that we are all seeking bliss. And every endeavor that we do throughout the day, even when we are working or earning money, we don't love money actually. We love the things the money can buy. So, and why? Because end of the day, we are seeking bliss. We think that is going to give us happiness. So we are trying to, every endeavor throughout the day, those activities might be contradictory. Like, for example, you might be sleeping because you're getting bliss. Ask me. And then you wake up because no more of sleeping. If somebody tells you that you have to sleep for the next 1 year and will pay you 3 times more the salary, would you agree to that? And all you have to do is sleep. You'll say, no, enough of it. That doesn't give me bliss anymore. Then we eat because it gives us bliss. And you say you keep eating, no, you'll stop. Why? It stopped giving you bliss. And then we hug somebody because it gives us bliss. And then you say, oh, after a while, why? Because it stopped giving you bliss. So we do contradictory activities, but everything is aimed at gaining some kind of a bliss. And it is very fundamental to our existence because we are part of the ocean of bliss himself, God. And that fountain is situated within us. Spirituality is all about tapping into that fountain and realizing that. and dismantle the layers that are covering it. Through the contemplation, the scriptural study, through bhakti, through our sadhana, and with Guru and God's grace, we keep on inching towards our goal. Yes, Rahul?
Radhe Radhe. We have few announcements to make. When time permits, we can do
Sure.
that. We have some slides which we can show.
Time is already permitting. Go ahead, and then we can come back. Do I need to stop share for that?
No, I
Yes.
think Rahulji can share.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I
Go
can
ahead.
directly share.
And please fill out the feedback tracker as well, especially if you're interested in using the tracker or any other thing. But we will continue to build on this shloka. There are a few more aspects I wanted to talk about before we wrap up conversation into it, but that'll be next week. By the way, this Sunday we will do Father's Day special because it's Father's Day. So we will talk about Parampita, our father's father. Okay. I don't know how
Nit-
much lineage do we know. So we'll talk about that. Yes, go ahead.
And Nitinji, Saturday special session also you should be announcing, I guess.
Yeah, so there is a family camp special session on Saturday, 10 a.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. IST. Please do join to know more about family camp and to listen to the wonderful testimonials of people who have attended it in person or virtual or who are planning to join it, this time and what inspires them. So yes, that's an information session. Do not miss out on that and encourage your friends and family to join in as well, who are still sitting on the fence to make up their mind. Yes, a live dosa counter. Is that the announcement? Okay, go ahead.
Father's Day special satsang on
Okay.
the left. But yeah, that one is also, this is all Father's
Your
Day
left or my
special.
left? It's my right. Okay.
Both left and right are both Father's Day special things happening at the Radhakrishna temple. So yeah, this is the satsang and then there's going to be exciting food as well. So and satsang can be attended both virtually and in person. So everybody should make the best use of it.
Yeah, if you get dosa, the satsang is free. So it's a great offer going on every Sunday.
Awesome. This is something Rahulji will tell us about.
Yeah, this is about the JKO Balmukund online summer camps. We are planning to have 3 summer camps. The first one is starting from June 17th, and it is a 2-week camp. So do try to check it out and spread the word around. Sanjay ji, you wanted to add about the Dallas Yoga Fest?
Yes, so Dallas Yoga Fest is coming up. It's next weekend, I mean, a weekend just after this one. And Swamiji is going to be here in person for the 3 days. It's going to be 3 days full of events, including Surya Namaskar, yoga, lectures, of course, keynote by Swamiji, as well as healthy food, nutrition, healthy nutritional food making and eating contest. So lots of things, Ayurveda, whatever you can imagine in yoga is going to be there. So don't miss out on that. Yeah.
And don't forget about the sound healing concert, which was also
Oh, yeah,
bucket list
sound
here.
healing concert, which, yeah.
Okay.
This is also,
And iPhone also we can do 1 2. So
sure, we'll do that.
the interesting character that we have in our session has found a way through iPhone now, and I'm getting a lot of interest.
Okay.
Yes, so we
Okay.
should put iPhone 1 2. That way renaming is not allowed, and we
Yeah.
can again take the corrective measure that we need to take. Okay.
And this announcement is about the link. Yeah, go ahead, Nitin. Yeah.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Finish off your announcements. Rahul.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, this is about the leadership workshop for you right after the family camp. So do check it out on the website. I mean, I will post the links there, and it is from July 12th to 13th. So only 2 days.
And just
Anything else?
to add regarding Yoga Fest, as I received a question, I'm sure some of the events will definitely be broadcasted online. It's just that the details are not available yet. But I mean, more certainly, Swamiji's keynote will be broadcasted online. So we will tell the details as and when they are available. And
That is why.
yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, you tell.
That is why it is recommended to register for this Yoga Fest, and you will get all the details for the sessions, which will be available online.
Makes sense. Perfect. And Kumarji is asking a question. Is new Vancouver boy joining the family camp?
I think he needs to negotiate with the US authorities, but they will say there's a joke. There was a guy who went to God and he said, God, I prayed you for my entire life, but you did not bless me with a jackpot lottery that I always wished for. So God said, I was always willing to fulfill your desire, but did you buy a lottery ticket? Tell me that first.
श्याम जी ने वीडियो बंद कर दी
Shyamji is not willing to apply for a visa, and then he hopes that he's going to make it without filing for a visa, right? So Shyamji, you need to do something about it. Okay, we'd love to have you here.
जी नितिन भाई, yes. Thank you so much.
No worries. Hope you're having a good time there. Yes, Pratyusha, you wanted to add something?
Radhe Radhe, sir. Radhe Radhe, everyone. Yeah, I was actually thinking about Sandhya's question about guidance from Guru, and I had one question that, like, we know that Guru exists as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh within us, Krishna, Vande Jagadguru. But I'm coming to the point of live Guru and the Guru who is not in body. So when a person is very highly spiritually advanced, I've seen people who are saying that my guru has inspired me, put this thought on me, or have told me this. So I just wanted to inquire, how does that happen?
It's a very subjective question based on how your relationship with your guru is. So there is a possibility if guru has to get something done and some disciple is eligible or worthy of that, they may inspire them and get it done. Even God inspires us also at times to get things done, right? Sometimes you feel like helping somebody, you feel a compulsion and you don't even know what inspired you. There are moments in life because God will not manifest directly. They will pick somebody as an instrument. So similarly, that could happen as well, for sure. I mean, in ways, right? So why, I mean,
Okay.
is there a particular thing that you had in mind related to that?
No, I was just because Sandhya was asking this question, and I have heard people say that, so I was just connecting that. Is there something that actually is there, like apart from having God within us as Guru, we might have these, external influences on us in the form of live or not live Gurus, which are not in the body, obviously. So,
Right.
second
Yeah, so you
question
can take
for me.
it. See, yeah,
so
it can
actually
happen. It can happen. But yeah, you need to be basically, it could happen. There's nothing ruling out that possibility for sure.
Okay.
so
So I
just
have
to
second
add
question.
sorry to this question, I just wanted to add one thing, that if the guru is also seated within the soul in some kind of a form, then this living or non-living like physical existence may not make any difference, right?
Sorry, repeat that.
I'm saying if guru is also seated within the soul, just like Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, in that case, that physical existence in the bodily form will not make any difference, right? In terms of inspiring the soul.
Yes, that's right.
Mm.
Should not. Basically, this relationship is much more deeper than the physical thing as we look at it, right? This relationship is much more deeper. It transcends the barriers that we feel, or limitation that we feel because of the bodily association and stuff like that. And this is a lifelong, multiple across lifetime kind of an association as well. It doesn't end in one lifetime. Because Guru, once they pick up your hand, they don't leave you until you have completed the journey. They will take you across the shore and not leave you midway. And that can continue across lifetimes in some form or manner. Even if you don't repeat during their avatar call, they will send somebody where the message would be seamless so that you can continue from where you had left. This is how this journey unfolds. Good questions. Yes, Imanshu, wanted to add something?
Yeah, I have one more question. Can I?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the second question is the Chit, Sat-Chit Anand, the Chit portion that we have, the Anuchit portion, and the Chitta of mind, the section of mind, are they same? Because the Chitta in our previous lifetimes, you've mentioned that we have probably must have witnessed Krishna in person. We don't know, or many other gods. So in that context, is the chitta and the chit, which is the knowledge, that the limited knowledge the soul possesses, is same.
Which can you repeat that, Pratisha? Basically, you said that.
The chitta, the soul's chit and the chitta of the mind, because it contains information throughout many lifetimes, many births, even as celestial beings or lower beings. It
Mhm.
contains in the chit. So is it the same?
Mhm.
Chit and chitta.
Mhm. What's the question?
Are they same? Is the Sat Chit Anand chit and the chitta of the soul? I mean, not chitta of the soul, chitta of the mind.
The chit, as I understand, I may not be able to understand or even answer your question completely. My understanding of chitta is that chit is something that has a tendency to attach
Yes.
itself. So when you get attached to something, your chit is in action. And
Hmm.
when somebody realizes God, their chitta is permanently attached to God, right? That consciousness is sunk in at that level. And
Okay.
Krishna is also called a chitta chor, where he basically steals your attention forever. Chitta chor means his attachment, that you cannot attach your mind to anything else but him at that point. And when
Hmm.
when you realize God, and then your chitta actually is firmly entrenched in devotion to God. It's completely immersed in God, is what my understanding is. But you can ask this question to Swamiji, because I'm sure there would be some technicalities around it. But my simple understanding is chitta is something that gets attached. And when you realize God, it cannot be attached to anything but God himself, right? Because they are always like, if you look at Hanuman, you think where his chitta would be, it's the service of Lord Ram. Wherever he goes, he looks at Siya Ram Jai Jag Sab Jag Jani. So now your mind is firmly entrenched in God and nothing else at that point, because anyway, God is all pervading. So the tendency of your chitta is it's riveted, firmly riveted to God or God's feet at that point. But yeah, you may want to ask Swamiji this question if there's some more depth you need.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
No worries. Thank you. Yes, Ivanshu?
Radhe Radhe, everyone. I just wanted to uh, add few things. So in the earlier question, when Sandhya ji asked, I want to share a funny scenario when Swamiji came to Seattle. So when he was leaving and we all were there with him at the airport, so he was almost gone, and then we said bye to him like 4 or 5 times, and then we all were very excited. And when he went inside the security gate and we were hardly able to see him, I just said to everyone, please just focus for 5 seconds inside your mind and just ask Swamiji to just have one, like, face
Alright.
behind palette. Literally, I said that, and we all did that, and Swamiji literally he did it twice. And so I'm just saying that uh the question that Sandhya asked, I think, like, in my opinion, if the Guru is present with us in the physical form or not, it depends on our faith, what we believe in, how we are feeling our Guru with us. Because right now, Swamiji is not in Seattle, he is somewhere else. But can I still feel him around me? Can I still focus on what he wants me to do, actually? That is, I think, more important. And also, in the recent SMX, someone asked Swamiji that you know everything, so can you just tell me about me, tell something about me? So Swamiji said, we didn't ask these kind of questions to Maharaj Ji, even though he knew everything. So if you have anything in particular, then you can ask. So in that way, if we go, a guru will never, he or like the guru can do anything, but I think the ultimate thing is if we have the faith, because we can't understand the guru's action with our intellect, what and how the guru is doing and for what reason the guru is doing it.
True.
So yeah, so that was one point. And the second question, like I just wanted to share about the question that Pratyusha ji just asked about the Satchidanand part. So like Satchidanand is, we refer when we talk about divine bliss, right? Which is characterized by the everlasting and ever fresh, infinite bliss. But we only have this similarity with God, right? That we are eternal and we are also conscious. So that chit which is being talked about, the jiva, that is very limited. It is only about our consciousness. It is not related to the Sat Chit Anand Chit that she was just referring to. That, in my opinion, that we do when we talk about the Anand part, right? Like Sat and Chit are the adjective for Anand, but so our chit is the Jiva's chit, which is we are just conscious like God. Similarly, how we are eternal like God, which is Sat, right? So, I mean, that's I just wanted to say that the chit that we have is only making us conscious based on our own karmas. If that karma ends, then that consciousness will go away and we will die. So, like in that direction, maybe I just wanted to say in that direction.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Himanshu, for your inputs on this and also the Palat story that you shared. That is pretty interesting. Okay, anybody else who wants to add anything? Pallaviji, you want to say how was your experience meeting Swamiji? Well,
Radhe Radhe. Yeah, thank you, Nitinji.
you have been on
Radhe
spot.
Radhe, Nitinji. Are you able to hear me?
Yes,
You
yes,
guys?
we are able to
Yeah.
hear and see you.
Yes. So, like always, experience is always overwhelming. It is definitely my honor and privilege to meet with Swamiji and had like heard, I felt as if always I feel the same kind of excitement, the same kind of being so overwhelmed when I'm in front of him. And it was sweet discussions that we had, and we had dinner with Swamiji. So that was amazing. Had some conversations about his new book, Spiritual Secrets. And he asked me about the Radha Krishna Bhakti app. And then when we talked about the Bhakti app, and then he asked me, how many butter pots you got, Pallavi? And when I said that, he is like, wow, that is very nice. And yeah, it was very, very sweet conversation, very blissful time spent with Swamiji.
Nice.
And yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I hope you all are accumulating butter pots. If not, then you can start doing that. It's a beautiful challenge already underway and a lot of good knowledge you can get in a very systematic, structured way. Yes, Sandhya, you wanted to add
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, just got reminded of something I heard from Maharajji today, which was related to what Himanshu ji just mentioned regarding Shraddha. So Maharajji said that there are 3 essential ingredients to walk on the path of bhakti. One, you have to have a human form. Second, you should have a guru. And third is you should have Shraddha and faith towards that guru. And if any of them is missing, we can't progress further. So yeah.
Yep,
I
all
just wanted to.
factors have to fall in place, right?
Mhm.
Very true. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, you want to say anything else, Himanshu? We can move to our devotional
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
We
Just one very quick, like when Swamiji were in Seattle, just want to share one more story. That we all were sitting, and then when Swamiji came, before that, we all were just talking to like each other that how will we say, like what will we talk about in the first 10 minutes? Because last time everyone was like silent. So when Swamiji came, in like hardly like 5-10 minutes, Swamiji asked this question. Okay, everyone start telling about your own story, like how you're. So he already knew what we wanted to talk about, and he just said that, and then he was going to each and every person, and then everyone was sharing their story, and obviously some people cried because we all were like very happy and emotional.
Yes.
So I just wanted to share that we also played cricket with Swamiji. It was like really good.
Nice.
Wow, amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Wonderful. Great. Okay, now we can again move to our devotional segment. Let's do a few more chantings before we wrap up for the session. And because next session, like I said, it's going to be on Sunday. We'll celebrate Father's Day. And please do attend Saturday session, the family camp.
And just one more thing, tomorrow also there is one more session.
Oh yes, tomorrow we have spiritual secrets, so don't miss out on that session. You will see a lot of familiar faces.
And the title is about body and soul. So how taking care of our body is important in our journey of our soul towards its goal. So we are going to talk about health and its importance and how we can strive to make our bodily health also better for this purpose. So, yeah.
Yes, and it's run by our amazing almost youngsters, so you don't want to miss out on that. Go
Okay.
ahead. Let's take 3 hands and then we can wrap up our session.
I'll get going.
Yeah, go ahead.
को कहत जो सब काम को कह भजो सुंदर श्याम राधे राधे औ कह दो एक संग करूं तब हो पूरन काम राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे. Some persons claim that all desires should be renounced, while others say that you should only practice devotion to Lord Krishna. In my opinion, both are naive. Actually, renunciation of worldly desires and development of love for Sri Krishna should be done simultaneously.
Now, if it is Maharaj Ji saying, in my opinion, opinion has to be honored. You know, when saints say my opinion, that means this is what it is. Okay, let's take 2 more hands.
Pratusha ji, Radhe Radhe.
Even Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is very humble. He's saying, in my opinion, he's telling that. He's not saying, I'm stating it, so listen to me. In my opinion, he's saying. He's not saying I am HO because that abbreviation was not invented by then, in my humble opinion, but he says, in my opinion. Yes, let's take a couple of hands.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
को
Pratusha.
कहूँ तजु सब काम को कह भजु सुंदर श्याम राधे राधे हो कहु दो एक संग करूं तब हो पूर्ण काम राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे.
Very
राधे
nice,
राधे.
Pratusha. Thank you. Swati ji, we have 2 minutes. We can take 2 hands, maybe.
राधे राधे.
Real quick.
तो कहत जो सब काम को कह भज सुंदर श्याम राधे राधे हो कह तो एक संग करूं तब हो पूरन काम राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण राधे. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Swati ji. Priya ji, go ahead, please. And then Sham ji last.
राधे राधे. को कहत जो सब काम को कह बजो सुंदर श्याम राधे राधे हो कह दो एक संग करो तब हो पूर्ण काम राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Riya ji. Sham ji, please.
Radhe Radhe,
Radhe
Shyam ji.
Radhe. Yeah, thank you so much. कहो कहु तजु सब काम को कह भजु सुंदर श्याम राधे राधे हौ कहु दो एक संग करूं, तब हो पूरन काम। राधे राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण, राधे राधे, राधे कृष्ण, राधे राधे राधे। Thank you so much.
Can I just quickly add that this is from Bhakti Shatak? That's 100 verses written by Jagat Gautam Sri Kripalaji Maharaj. So anybody who's interested in looking at it in entire context of all the verses, you can always look up for it. Yeah.
Yes, it's a Gagar, it's a Sagar in Gagar, they call it. That much profound knowledge it is. And he has distilled the whole essence of scriptures in those 100 verses. In fact, one of the even each verse, that commentary can go on for a month. Even that is less. You can imagine how much effort would it have taken for him to put everything in those 100 verses. So, and we are fortunate to recite it and contemplate upon it and bring it to our sessions as well. Okay, so with that said, we wrap up today's session. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and happy Father's Day in advance. We'll see you on Sunday, and don't miss out on tomorrow's session, Spiritual Secrets for Hinduism. It's at the same time. So I look forward to seeing you then. Radhe Radhe. Good night, good day from my side. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.